conscious of the empty prescription bottles around us. Recognizing this as a narcotic-induced overdose, officers administered the antidote Narcan and then performed CPR. The victim began to breathe on his own, thus saving the individual's life. We recognize these officers for their efforts. We also recognize Lieutenant Jesse Garcia of the Bonham Fire Department for conducting the training provided to the police officers in the use of Narcan only a few days prior to this incident. We thank you for your combined efforts in this life-saving event. Thank you, everyone. Call meeting in order at 5:35. Thank you for your patience. We have a quorum and we have one member in that. Okay, consider and take action to approve minutes of February 13th regular meeting. Have to look over. Do you want to have any questions or comments?
I'll move with it. And I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same? Thank you very much. Consider to take action to accept financial report for month ending February 28, 2023.
Their general fund continues to show a large positive variance in revenues in February, which is typically the case as we collect the majority of our ad valorem taxes through the month of February. The city has collected 85% of its budgeted property tax revenue for the fiscal year, which aligns with prior year history. This equates to an increase of $333,000 in property tax collections versus the same time frame last year. Sales tax continue to track well versus the budget, and the city is collecting $59,000 more in sales tax this same time frame over last year. On the expense side of the budget, there have been no significant unexpected outlays.
The audio is gonna suck because they don't have speakers out here.
The city annual debt payments in February from the taxable INS account. These payments total $599,767 from the ad valorem supported fund and $899,047 from the utility supported fund. The water wastewater funds are also tracking well. Total revenues are 42% of the fiscal year budget, and total expenses are now 38% of the fiscal year budget. With the completion of the fiscal 21 audit, city staff is now aggressively pushing forward with work on the fiscal 22 report. The city has installed debt book, which is going to assist with the new gas fee regulations and requirements. The city also continues to utilize outside consultants to expedite the audit process and work towards
It's just budget stuff right now, but what's important is what I have to say to the city council about public comments.
All right. You have any questions?
What do you expect the final collection percentage to be? Based on history.
over 100%. I don't have it all.
I mean, percentage.
Over 100% will be budgeted actively.
All right, entertain a motion to accept.
Vote to accept, please.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to find a external mic that I can afford, since I don't have a job right now.
Thank you, Nick. Citizens' opportunity to speak. City council invites persons with comments or observations to briefly address the council for the limited purpose of determining whether the matter should be referred to the staff to study and response and or be placed on future Meeting agenda. State law prohibits the city council from conducting deliberations on any item not listed on the posted city council agenda. Would please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Would like to address the city council this time? Yes, sir.
I can't even hear him. I have no idea what he's saying either.
Another issue is, and I have told you guys time and time again, you have a contract with Waste Management, and I was here when he promised that he would put the garbage cans back up on the property. Well, the week before that, or 2 weeks, on the west side of Bonham, you had street sweepers sweeping around every garbage can in town. Why did you even have the garbage people, why did you have the street sweeper out picking up, or trying to sweep the streets, when over half the street was covered with garbage cans? That's a waste of money on the city's part, and it done the people no good whatsoever. And it's something you guys need to address. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Anyone else like to speak this time?
Yeah.
Good evening, City Council. My name is CJ Grisham from Temple, Texas. Say again? CJ Grisham. I sent an email, but I never got a response and saying so much as, hey, we got your email. So I thought I'd just come in person and read what I sent you because this body owes a member of your community an apology for having a police chief escort her out for supposedly not being a citizen. Government Code Section 551.007, public testimony, is very clear and ambiguous that a government body shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on an agenda for an open meeting of the body to address the body regarding the item at the meeting during or before the body's consideration of the item. You'll notice that the law does not say each geographical resident under the governing body's authority. So the question then becomes, what is a member of the public? Well, when, quote, member of the public is used in conjunction with an identified or identifiable group or groups, as it is here with government body, its meaning is contextually modified to mean a person who does not belong to the identified group. In other words, someone who is not on the city council. This case is Austin Bulldog v. Leffingwell, 490 Southwest 3rd, 240, if you want to look that up. Hence, the phrase member of the public is often used to differentiate between ordinary citizens and the government that was created by and is comprised of those citizens. Same case law. In Strata v. Roe, the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit held that Mr. Strata could not speak during public comments because he was a member of that particular board. So in other words, if one of you wanted to come out here, like I believe it was done during public comments a few weeks ago or months ago, and speak during public comments, you're actually not allowed to because it's for the public and you're not a member of the public. I've also been made aware that the City Council allegedly did not allow public comments on an agenda. 551.007B requires that each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item of the agenda is able to do so, other than consent agenda items. Finally, I've been informed that either someone here or Mayor Compton directed Police Chief Bankston to remove a citizen for refusing to give their personal address. There is no requirement under Texas law or under your code that requires a citizen to divulge such thing. And as a matter of fact, it's a fundamental element of our right to free speech or not to speak to keep that from you. In McIntyre v. Ohio Elections Commission, the U.S. Supreme Court said that, quote, anonymity is a shield from tyranny of the majority. So to tell someone they can't speak if they don't give their address in this day and age where people are getting doxxed, where people are getting swatted, puts these people in jeopardy if they don't feel comfortable giving their address, like I don't. A member of the public has a right to criticize the government or speak to it. So I just implore you to apologize to the lady. Was that the 1 minute warning or a 3 minute warning? Okay, that you apologize to the lady that you violated her rights and had her taken out.
Anyone else like to speak at this time?
Evening, City Council. My name is Jeffrey Ware. I'm from Temple, Texas, Delaware County. I grew up in Tarrant County, and my family originates from Cook County, Whitesboro. John 17:11 talks about faith and courage, like the Goodson family and friends who are here to ensure everyone has the opportunity to be involved. Bonham City should already be live streaming and recording its meetings. Romans 13 explains the importance of being subject to authority, to do what is good and receive approval. Texas City Councils are not to be a terror to good conduct. The authority is not you. We live in a republic. Paul's teaching applies to us speaking to you. For us to ensure governments do not pressure believers to violate their biblical duties. It is our duty to ensure we are informed and the City Council abides accordingly. I have served over 20 years in the Army, fighting communists, dictators, and terrorists. I am blessed to be standing before you, and also saddened that I'm here in the great state of Texas fighting government filled with communism, dictators, and terrorists. Goodsons are not, and the community members are not instigators nor outsiders. We're requesting the city to use technology and your elected positions to keep the electorate informed. I and we are here to address the lack of transparency, intimidation, use of unconstitutional and immoral acts of eminent domain, inappropriate materials in our libraries and schools, and actions to silence citizens. And I just want to emphasize more on the eminent domain. In case the citizens don't know, they should know that as a home rule city, you owe them the information to know what's going on and not to hide behind it. I served this country to come home to enjoy what you guys have built, only to find out I'm in the middle of an industrial park. So I can't do what my grandfather did to my dad and pass the property on. Don't do that to the rest of what's going on in Sherman and Denton, Whitesboro. Thank you for volunteering your time and your service to our community.
Anyone else like to speak this time?
Good evening, my name is Joe Goodson, I'm from Bonham, Texas, and I come in goodwill. I'd like to read what I wrote. My wife, whom you removed from last month's city council meeting after she questioned why she was made to divulge our full address, while nobody else who spoke publicly was made to do so in that same meeting, nor in the previous meetings she has attended. My wife is a retired public servant, having served as an elementary school teacher for almost 20 years. Her heart, her interest is for the children. As you know, as we all know by now, there is an agenda by some in our country and beyond to pollute the hearts and the minds of our children. That is why she wanted to address you. But she did not get to. And she came kindly. She did not come as anybody who believes but the best of each one of you, and that's how I'm coming. Please believe me when I say that. I respect each of you, and I thank you for your service. I respect the chief. I thank you for his service. I thank him for his service. But we should all be aware, shouldn't we, that this kind of pollution of our young people, that is an agenda of some adults around the country, it will happen on our watch. or it will not happen because of our watch. We've come to this community as peacemakers for Christ's sake and for the children who, as an entire generation, are at risk to the many evils that are being propagated upon them by confused adults. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, and peacemakers make peace for the sake of truth and people, not at the expense of truth and people. While truth is stumbling in the streets of our communities, usually our larger cities, our prayer is that it will prevail and prosper here, and I know that's your prayer as well. Okay? Perhaps my wife got on your every last nerve, but asking kindly and repeatedly for your meetings to be recorded was not the intention of us to get on your nerves. What we understand, I'm moving to my next slide here, that since important decisions affecting us all are made at these meetings, it is in everyone's best interest to make what happens here as publicly available as possible. I'm confident that we're all on the same page with all of this, and that going forward we can support one another in the crucial cause of protecting our children and our community from the pernicious influences so commonly invading their innocence in our big cities, especially as Bonham and Fannin County grows. We can hold on to our values if we work together courageously and vigilantly. In light of that goal, we will be establishing an extension of Concerned Christian Citizens here in Northeast Texas, and I come representing Concerned Christian Citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else going to speak this time?
Molly Gibson, Bonham, Texas.
I don't think this works.
Okay, I was like, is it working? Okay. Hello, I'm speaking on behalf of Concerned Christian Citizens of Bonham, Fannin County. In the early fall, after finding sexually explicit books that school-aged children have access to at the Bonham Public Library, I gave my email to the librarian since I was told that this public library does not have open board meetings to the citizens to attend. While the folks at the library have been nice and helpful, I'm still asking the questions that I and others need answered. In December, I spoke at the public comments of the city council here, asking who makes the selections of books in the library. I was told the library board was private, which was not what I was asking. After the meeting, I shook hands with the city manager and explained my concerns about the sexualization of books in the library for children. Since then, I still see these books in our public library and on the library's online server. So my question is, what is the Bonham Public Library's process for reviewing books containing graphic, sexual, and other content inappropriate for school-aged children? Please help us protect these kids. Bottom line, I'm believing the best about everybody here. I'm not saying these books are in our library intentionally. I'm not saying anyone here has an agenda to corrupt our youth. I'm saying only that these books are here. That 10 to 20 years ago, this would have been unthinkable, and it still is, and it will always be. And that their presence here is not acceptable, especially as contrary as they are to our community's family values. The Lord has entrusted to you the authority to protect the children of your community, and we will support you as you do. Thank you for your serious consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the council at this time? Okay. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it. Mr. Nichols, presentation of plaque to the employee of the quarter.
Yes, sir, Mayor Council. This quarter's employee quarter is Chad Schrum.